I am fresh, I've had a haircut, looking good. So you join me underneath the Focus. Join me for part 2 of the Focus episode, where we see if we can get this car finished in 2 days, ready for sale. Spoiler alert, we kinda don't. But I'll come to that at the end. I'll explain why, and I'm sure it'll all make sense. Right, so shut up, Becky. Right. We're back, it's day 2 of the Focus. I am fresh, I've had a haircut, looking good. I've got the parts from Eurocar Parts in the car. I'm gonna quickly nip up the air filter, the wipers, just those little bits. I'm gonna glue on the door seal and I'm gonna start getting that sump off so that I can make a start on cleaning that out. Then we'll get the mirror done, the wing done, give it a damn good clean, and we should be ready for some photos. So let's just get straight into it. Cool, so got a Bosch air filter, got a MAN oil filter. It was cheaper than the Bosch one, and when it's MAN, it's good. And got a carbon activated cabin filter, along with set wiper blades, rear, and some Ford 0W30. So that's everything that we're going to need to give this a fresh service. We'll start with the air filter, we'll get that in. Much better than the one that came out of it, that's for sure. So we'll bring this round, we'll get it in. Just pushes in there, and the cover goes on and is held on with 4 7mm screws. Nice and easy. Nice, so next up is the oil filter. This oil filter has this kind of little nipple at the bottom of it. Now this, I'm not sure if I can even get this in the photo, but where is it? Ish. That nipple needs to align with a hole in the bottom of the oil filter. Now there's 2 ways you can do it. I'm pretty good at putting it in the housing and locating it. If you're not very good at that, then get the filter, place it down into the oil filter housing, and press it down firmly until it clicks, making sure that it's nice and central. The only thing we're doing that is it just makes it a bit trickier to put the oil filter housing on, but that's the way I'm going to do it this time. When you're fitting the rubber sealing sort of ring on these particular filter housings, they're square. And what I've seen before with oil leaks is if you've got a twist in this, it leaks, and I've had it before where I've had to replace other people's work as a result of them not fitting these correctly. So try and make sure that it's square all the way around. I'm going to put a smear of engine oil on it, like that. Always start it by hand and then finish it with the ratchet. Don't ever start it with the ratchet. It's very easy to cross thread those if you're not paying attention. Nice.
Nice.
Next up is the intake pipe that we removed. I've given it a good clean and a bit of a degunge inside, so we'll get that fitted next. Cool, so obviously I'm going to leave the dipstick up for now. I think what I'll do next is I'm going to change the cabin filter, and I'm also really going to do the rear wiper because I can't get to the fronts at the moment. And then we'll get on doing the sump after we've stuck that door seal on. Lots of things going on. I thought we'd all give you a bit of a laugh when you're trying to change a wiper blade. But we'll do that first, get out of the way. It's all done. Not needing you anymore. Here's the new one. It's got a little sort of round notch, and it literally just presses up into a slot on here, and you remove it just by pressing it down. It's easy to make sure it moves freely. Easy. Anybody who's ever had a Ford Focus will know about this issue, I'm sure. These door seals are glued or bonded to the door frame, and after a few years that glue sort of dries out, door opening and closing, people kicking their feet, then you get this where the door seal is hanging out. A lot of people just kind of cut it off. That isn't really a fix, it's just a bit of a rubbish solution really. That is there as a secondary seal, helps keep sort of wind noise and water out if you ever were to drive through water. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some Tiger Seal, and we'll Tiger Seal it on there. It ain't coming off again after that. That's what they should have used in the factory, I think, something a little bit more flexible. They've just used like a clear adhesive, and it just isn't very good. Cool, so I've stuck the door seal down as best I can, and I've taped it just to hold it in place as well. So I'll leave it until that is set and I can't move it anymore. I'll pull the tape off, and then we should be on to a winner with that door seal, hopefully. So whilst that's set, I'm going to leave the door open, and I'm going to move on now to doing the sump. We'll get that off, get it degunged, put it back on, fill up the engine with oil. Actually, I should probably do the cabin filter first, shouldn't I? Let's do the cabin filter first while this door is permanently open. So I think the cabin filter is under the glove box, but in the box over here that has the cabin filter in it, there is usually, from these more premium ones like Bosch, oh, it's just nice. It feels heavy. It's a good quality filter. Little instruction manual. It tells you where on the car it is. Except on here, they haven't got a picture of a Ford Focus. They've got a Galaxy, a Cougar, a Mondeo, an S-Max, a C-Max, and another C-Max. What they haven't got is a Mondeo, but I suspect it's in the same sort of place. Okay, so to add to my Google searches of location of cabin filter for this year of car, I've Googled the location of the cabin filter on a 2016 Ford Focus, and it was where I thought it was. It's just next to the glove box in the centre console bit. You don't have to remove any sort of covers or anything. That's the cabin filter cap. It's got these two sort of springy little clips that you move down. There's a screw holding it on that was missing on this. I am going to reinstate a screw just because it's just better to do that. And then it slots in at the top. So with that removed, you can dislocate yourself. I always knew I should have been a gymnast. And there is a very disgusting cabin filter. I remember with these, the air and the sort of bits that this is trapping is air that you would be breathing in. This is, yeah, pretty past its best. So glad I'm replacing that. So on the cabin filter, on the new one, there should be two direction arrows that say where the airflow is coming from. The airflow generally comes from the front of the car and in. So when you fit this, you're going to fit it with the arrows facing from the front to the rear of the car. Pretty easy, really. So now you get to witness me folding myself and bending myself into different shapes while I'm trying to fit this cabin filter why car manufacturers don't mount the cabin filter before the fan in somewhere accessible like the engine bay or the scuttle panel, I'll never know. They always mount them after the fan inside the cabin before the heater matrix, which means most cars you have to dislocate yourself in order to be able to get to them. This car is one of those. They can be quite fiddly to fit, so you do have to kind of dislocate yourself and break your arm up in order to get it in. And you do have a habit of sort of bending and flexing it quite a bit, which is why I prefer the carbon ones, because they're made a bit more of a fabric, whereas the cheaper white ones, which are just a filter, they're a bit more rigid, they're more paper-like, and flexing them and bending them in the same way just isn't great. So we'll get this back in. We'll find a screw as well, actually. I didn't want to close that, did I? Oh, it's all right. Cool, so I've got a little screw, Phillips head, and a washer. Doesn't need a washer, I just wanted one. Sado information alert. There are two main types of Phillips style screw. One is called Posi Drive, and what Posi Drive has is these little extra bits on the edge, and they're designed to fit snugly into Posi Drive screws. There are then Phillips. They are different. They don't have the extra bits. They are just a straight up cross head. Use a Phillips and a Posi, it'll slip. Use a Posi and a Phillips, it'll slip. Drop it on the floor, it'll slip. So try and use the right one. Maybe you've learned something. You probably haven't. You're probably bored. You've gone for a McDonald's. That's what I did. So that's the cabin filter done. That's the door seal done. I'm still stood up. It makes sense to do the wing mirror, doesn't it? Let's get the wing mirror done. Then we'll do the rest of the jobs. So in order to get to the fixings that hold the wing mirror onto the car, I'm going to have to take this kind of plastic speaker tweeter cover off. It literally just pulls off like that, by the way. There's a slot down the bottom and a clip at the top. Pull the electrical connection out for the tweeter. Pull the electrical connection out for the mirror. That's both the electrical connections out. At the moment, I can only see 2 screws. So I'm hoping that means there are only 2 screws. I'll check the other mirror to make sure. See, I'm glad I checked. There are 3 fixings holding the mirror on. 1, 2, 3. I can only see 2. The third one must be a bit further. Oh, it's here. Yeah, there we go. Easy. So with that cover pulled off, after having checked the mirror and we've seen that there are 3 screws holding the wing mirror on, we've removed the electrical connections. What we're going to do next is grab a T25 Torx bit, and we're going to use that to unscrew the 3 fixings. Hopefully without dropping them into the door card, meaning I'll have to take the door card off. Some cars you do have to take the door card off in order to change the mirror, my Freelander being a perfect example of that. So we'll get these 3 out. So with them removed, we'll go around to the other side. Pull the mirror up. See how bad this is. It's obviously been clattered and clouted a few times. It's still full of water from the jet washing yesterday. We'll get rid of that. This is our nice new replacement mirror. No damage on that at all. Let's get it fitted. Easy as that. Three screws go back in. Once the three screws are back in, we'll pop the electrical connection back into the wing mirror until it clicks. We'll get the tweeter wiring clipped back in as well. And then we will hook everything back together inside. Nice. That's another job done. So the next job I want to tackle is getting the sump off, getting that cleaned. So I'm going to take all the screws out, all the bolts out that are holding the sump in place onto the engine block. We're going to sort of run a thin Stanley knife around the edge of it, a trim tool, and try not to bend it too much. Get the sump off, get it degunged, get it back up and fitted. And then once the sump is back on, fill it with engine oil, drop it down with the under tray fitted. I might do the wing before I drop it down, just because it's a bit easier access with it as it is at the moment, and I might have to take that wheel off again and take the inner arch apart, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's do this sump first. So you join me underneath the Focus where the sump is, and there are a load of what look to be 8mm bolts, and then one 10mm bolt on a stud, and that stud has got an E-socket end on the end of it, so you can remove the stud and slide the sump off without having to take the exhaust apart. So let's have a go at making a mess of this. So we're going to be using this. I'd like to take this moment to thank whoever borrowed my toolbox last for putting a 9mm deep socket in the 8mm deep socket slot and losing the 8mm deep socket. Yeah, that was helpful. Right, so shut up, Becky. Right, so the sump is off, and I'm quite glad that I did this because it's disgusting and there's a load of oil still left in it even after draining it, and you can see all the sort of sludge and the yuckiness that's just built up on all the edges. Not very nice at all. So we're going to get that cleaned out, degunged, and yeah, sealed back up. Well worth doing. I'm not going to do it to every car I ever own ever. Not all of the cars need it, but this one definitely needed it after looking inside that PCV valve. So let's get this clean, let's get it refitted, get the engine oil service finished, and then we'll get that wing replaced, and we're pretty much nearly there then, I think, with this car. Much progress is being made. The wing is off, thanks to a little bit of help that I've just had come over from one of my mates who's been away from this location for quite a while, and I've got the sump clean. So all of the gasket is off the sump. I have damaged it, which I was expecting to do. Where is it? There it is. So there's a bit of a dent just in the base there where I've had to use the captive nut to wind the sump off to break the silicone, but that's fine. I'm going to straighten it on the vise in a second, hammer it flat and get that refitted. First things first, I need to get the wing out the box, inspect it. I haven't even looked at it since I bought it. The photos looked okay, but you don't know, somebody might have sat on it whilst it was in transit. So we'll get that sorted, add to the scrap metal pile, and we are very, very close to getting this car finished off, at least mechanically. We're done! Servicing complete, wiper blades fitted. I've just run it up to make sure there's no leaks underneath. There isn't. So that's it, the Focus is now complete. Mechanically sound, my pile of bits is completely gone. All I need to do, quick detail on the car, bit of machine polish here and there, and I'm going to get some photos tomorrow morning and get it listed for sale. So it isn't smoking anymore, it's running sweet as a nut, sounds great, no warnings on the dash for TPMS sensors or anything like that, which is great. I was a little bit worried about that, having to swap the sensors around from the old wheels onto these wheels and making sure they're all on the same side. So thank you for sticking with me, sticking with this. I hope it all came together okay. Look forward to some final pictures at the end of this video of the car in all its glory, polished up, looking great. Quite attached to the little Focus now. It isn't a very special car, it isn't a very nice car, but what it is my car. So yeah. Again, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe, and look forward to the next one. Except the car wasn't done. So stay tuned for part 3. I'm going to go into detail as to why the car wasn't done. Spoiler alert, it's entirely my fault. I made a bit of a decision which I think will improve the chances of the car selling, at least for better money than it would if I hadn't done this. So stay tuned for part 3. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.